Curtis cuts her hair after many years. Find out why she did it here. Recently, Ann Curtis went extremely viral as she cut her long hair for her role in her upcoming movie By Bust. She took it to Instagram and captioned the video "Snip snip for my new role" and #By Bust. Director's orders. This is the shortest I've ever gone. She was half hysterical in her reaction to her new crop do, but nonetheless, she still looks gorgeous as ever. She then tagged the director of the film, Erik Matti. Previously, her video training for the movie went viral as well. She had to learn different action stunts, knife handling, pistol training, martial arts and a lot more for the film. Fans are excited with this different Ann Curtis. The other details of the movie are not yet revealed, but also starring in the movie is one heavyweight champion Brandon Vera. Meanwhile, her video has now garnered over 387,000 views. Invite you to watch the video. The second suspect in the killing of architecture student died inside detention cell. The second suspect in the killing of 18-year-old college student, Nick Russell Olnett, passed away inside his cell on Sunday evening as reported by GMA News. Southern Police District Director Senior Supt. Tomas Apolinario said that Reynold Clave died inside the detention cell of Togwig City Police Station at 10:45 p.m. Clave is one of the suspects in the killing of Nick Russell Olnett, who died after being stabbed 18 times. More or less 80 detainees were detained inside the cell when the incident happened. First suspect, Marvin Bernardo, was killed earlier when he allegedly tried to get the police's rearms. Both suspects were arrested in a follow-up operations of the police. Invite you to watch the video. Mokoyusun blog was targeted for suspension by a Change.org petition. Moka's response? Find out here. A Change.org petition was filed for the suspension of the Facebook page of dancer and blogger Mokoyusun blog. Mokoyusun, a Filipino entertainer turned dude die-hard supporter, uses her Facebook page to spread fictitious and false information about pressing issues in the Philippines, from the role the USAID plays in the country to circulating malicious and false news concerning other government officials, eliciting unwarranted hate from the public, petitioner Paul Quilip noted. These Facebook posts widens the rift between those who support the current administration and those who are critical of it, he added. Some people also supported this petition, saying, "Freedom of speech does not only permit people to express their opinion, but it also serves as a litmus test to screen what is considered the truth from fiction," wrote AP. She is a cancer to Philippine society, actively promoting misinformation to the public, AS said. Her blog is all about the Philippine president's achievements and about talks about past administration being a joke. The blog contains too many lies and credit-grabbing, and she successfully fools most of the Filipino citizens using memes. Philippines is a third-world country and most of the people doesn't have the means to read and research news and articles and where those memes were actually grabbed from due to slow internet connection. The result is she promotes hatred and division amongst Filipinos, VC exclaimed. As of posting, the petition, which needs 25,000 signatories, already have 15,223. Mokoyusun blog reacted to this and posted this petition to her page saying, "Invite you to watch the video." Watch. Carmen Pedrosa revealed that former President Noy is mentally ill. Unbelievable. PSSAP Underground Media on Facebook posted something that we should have known several years ago. Carmen Pedrosa, a newspaper columnist, said that former President Ninoy Aquino has a mental illness. The video was made during the last 2010 elections last 2019. Pedrosa said that the people should be informed about who they are really voting for, which was the reason that the video was produced. However, it was not released to safeguard the image of the presidential candidate. A former classmate of Noy testified and proved his unusual behavior. There is also a source in Boston that confirms Noy's mental issues. It says that there is a Filipino that lives in Boston, Massachusetts that gave a confirmation that the presidential candidate Noy really has a mental problem. Read below the statement. A Filipino residing in Boston, Massachusetts has confirmed that presidential candidate Senator Benigno Noynoy Aquino III suffered some mental problem and that his father and namesake Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. sought psychiatric help for him. The Aquinos lived in Boston when they were exiled to the United States during the martial law years, specifically from 1980 to 1983. Newspaper columnist Carmen Pedrosa wrote she received information which says that the allegations about Noynoy's mental illness were true. My source is apolitical, but she was moved by her responsibility to her country. She decided to do her part to stop the prevarication of others who also knew. The stories about Noynoy's mental illness are not concoctions, she said. These should not be dismissed. It should be proved, Pedrosa wrote in her column at the Philippine Star on April 24. Pedrosa said, Ninoy was worried about his son and his future because he loved him. He expressed frustration that he could not rely on his son to take up his legacy, but that was not his main concern. He was more worried about his happiness as a person. That is what led him to seek help from his doctor friend. Ninoy sought the doctor, and his exact words to him were, for a young boy he was lethargic, he must have a problem. The doctor told the story to some close friends, among them, the source of this story, Pedrosa added. We must look at the issue closely and not be satisfied with mere gossip but seek to establish the facts, she further wrote. Pedrosa clarified that her source has no reason to invent a story. She is a private person who received information she feels must be told. She is connecting a story many years ago when Noynoy was a young boy in Boston, not a presidential candidate but as the well-loved only son of a father frustrated that he will not be able to carry on with his legacy. She even cited another columnist, Belinda Cunanan of the Philippine Daily Inquirer, for having written an incident in Tarlac that showed aberrant behavior from the Liberal Party standard-bearer. She quoted Cunanan, some mayors relate that at a Tarlac festival, Noynoy was enjoying some halo with local Charles and other guests when quite suddenly, he blew some of it over the face of a friend. To the shock of those around him, Noynoy then began to laugh, as if it were a big joke. His strange behavior has been told by those who knew him closely, like the classmate from Aquino, who hid under the pseudonym Tomcat. His recollections give details which can be varied by others, who knew Noynoy then. These details, together with how Ninoy sought help for his son, can be the starting point for a serious investigation, Pedrosa also wrote. Tomcat alleged that he was a classmate of Aquino at Ateneo de Manila University and wrote a letter to him that was published in Manila Standard under columnist Jojo Robles' space. You can also watch the video below to hear and see it. What can you say about this? Share your thoughts to us. Invite you to watch the video. U.S. Navy exercise in South China Sea is dangerous and provocative. The avoidance of misunderstanding has long been key to peace and stability in the South China Sea. The latest freedom of navigation exercise by the U.S. Navy in disputed waters did not serve this purpose. Rather, the timing and the circumstances of a warship's patrol off the Paracel Islands on Friday understandably upset China and brought a very strong reaction from Beijing. What U.S. officials described as a challenge to excessive maritime claims near Triton and Woody Islands cannot be discussed in isolation from the visit to Beijing by the Philippines' new leader, President Rodrigo Duterte, for talks in which the two sides decided to put the South China Sea dispute behind them and move forward. As a key ally of Manila in its territorial dispute with China, the United States has said its role was to support the Philippines as a neutral player without territorial claims, concerned only to ensure innocent maritime passage and navigation rights and that no conflicts arose from the use of force to claim territory. In this respect, the Pentagon says Friday's exercise in showing the flag was long planned. But the timing would have been ironic if it was not so troubling. Duterte's trip to Beijing, after all, had also been long planned, and his mission to defuse maritime tensions inflamed by an international tribunal ruling against Beijing's claims widely reported. There was no danger of conflict breaking out at such a time. As for safety of navigation, the South China Sea, unlike troubled waters in other parts of the world, is not known for piracy or interception and hijacking of shipping. This removes the two strongest rationales for sending a warship into disputed waters. It is therefore hard not to see this action, even as Manila and Beijing were seeking to reach agreement on practical steps to de-escalate tensions and avoid misunderstandings, as provocative. That said, if as some suspect the White House has been preoccupied with pre-election domestic politics and flashpoints of tension in the Middle East, the Pentagon could have taken advantage, as it were, to send a message that reflects the U.S. Navy's well-known and more hardline stance about how to handle the South China Sea dispute. Beijing needs to bear in mind that the warship exercise does not necessarily represent the U.S. government stance. Nonetheless, it remains a provocation that sends dangerous signals to China and is therefore a sensitive issue that will demand careful handling by the next U.S. president. Thank you for watching videos. You remember the likes and comments below. Thanks.